Well, you know, I was reflecting as I observed John Chambers bound up those stairs that I might possibly emulate him. And then I reflect on the fact that one of our current operating companies is developing spinal implants. And I realize what happens if you tripped. I don't want to use my own product, so I walked up. You know, over the last several years, it's been my pleasure to join with many of you to attend several of these wonderful UTC annual galas, honorary events, celebrating the entrepreneurial spirit in our nation, and particularly, I think, timely in the sense that we're celebrating it here in this remarkable state of Utah, where we're having such a rush of entrepreneurial energy. And as I've attended these events, I've thought how appropriate it is to celebrate this entrepreneurial energy that, in a very real sense, is the actuator and the catalyst of so much job creation, opportunity creation, wealth, and quality of life. But in another sense, I think there's a little bit of a hazard here. I think that if we're not careful, we may tend to promulgate the mythology of the self-made man, when in fact, as you reflect on the reality of our society, during the last several hundred years, there were lots of very capable, tremendous, driven individuals whose histories were filled with a great deal of frustration and failure because they didn't have the blessing to be born in the second half of the 20th century in America. And I think that if you reflect on the reality of our world here the last 50, 60 years, you realize that they did not have the opportunity to start their enterprises in the midst of what is generally a fairly honest and open government. They didn't have the ability to benefit from a coherent legal and judicial system that recognized and respected contracts and individual rights and freedom. They didn't have the opportunity to leverage off of an incredible culture that respected integrity and hard work as a means for wealth generation as opposed to corruption and rent seekers. And particularly, they couldn't leverage off of and form their entities in the midst of an evolved infrastructure that was the result of decades of sacrifices from literally millions of educated and dedicated and hardworking Americans who put in place an infrastructure that's unmatched throughout the world. Part of that infrastructure, I might add, and just glancing at Mike Young, is a network of research universities that's unparalleled throughout the world, from which all of us glean our skilled human capital and many of the basic technologies and ideas that we strive so hard to commercialize. So I accept this award tonight in the face of the reality and reflecting on the reality that really is the efforts of lots and lots of wonderful Americans over many years in this culture that we live in that really is the deserving recognition entity, and I'm just a proxy for that. I also want to take just a moment to thank folks on 7 or 8 tables around this room who represent the wonderful teams who have created and who are now in the midst of creating wonderful entities, product-focused entities, customer product entities. I respect them all so much for having helped create cultures that are productivity-focused, are transparent, non-politicized, productive entities. It's been a real privilege over the last 3 decades to work with them. And I also want to thank my wonderful wife of the last 35 years. We've gone through quite a ride together in this crazy life science adventure. In the midst of that, somehow she's found time to raise and nurture 7 kids, with me not being around a heck of a lot sometimes. And I want you to know that those 7 individuals are people of the highest integrity and intelligence and drive and just decency that I know. And it's just an honor to be associated with my family. I want you to all know also that they've overcome my genetic burdens nicely. And it's a great privilege to associate with them. I really appreciate the opportunity to be with you here tonight. Appreciate this tremendous opportunity to be an American in this incredible century and to join with you in creating so many opportunities and so much potential for so many Americans. Thank you.